Hello everyone, we are going to start working on our abstract art pieces, and more particularly we are going to be talking more about the artist Cy Twombly and his artworks. He was an American painter, sculptor, and photographer, and he was also in the generation of the abstract artists. So more particularly, if you guys have heard of Jackson Pollock or Robert Rauschenberg or Jasper Johns, he worked with them. Looking at his artwork, you can notice that there is no discernible object. It is mostly just line, shape, and color. I can catch you saying, but my kid could make that. My cat could make that. My dog could make that. And that is a very valid response to initially seeing abstract art. But at the same time, sometimes you don't have a feeling that you can't process. Or you have a response to a situation that just doesn't make sense, like some sort of mass murder or riots and stuff like that. And so some people create abstract art just as a response to their feelings. So in his art, you can see that it is just mainly line, shape, and color. To create our own artwork, we are going to need the following materials. We have 3 different options, or you can try a mixture of both of them, but in separate pieces. So, if you guys do not have watercolor, you guys can use marker, but you will also need something slick to paint on top of. A plastic baggie or cellophane works. So for our first one, you guys can use watercolor, glue, salt, brush, thicker paper, tape. For your second option, you guys can use watercolor, oil, salt, brush, thicker paper, and tape. For our third option, we have watercolor, white crayon, salt, brush, thicker paper, and tape. If you do not have the watercolor, here I am demonstrating how to use your markers on the cellophane or plastic to create your paint. For the remainder of the video, I'm going to show you guys 2 different techniques. I'm going to be doing number 1 with glue and then number 3 with crayon. Oil is very simple as well, and if you guys need help with that, just let me know in the comments or in person. So you can see me showing off all the different materials. Then I am taping down my paper to the table so that it's nice and secure. And then I am starting to apply my materials. So when you are working with glue, you're going to be applying your watercolor first, then your glue and salt. Try to plan out where you are putting your glue versus your salt. And I also highly suggest picking colors that are close to each other on the color wheel. These are called analogous colors. Once my paper is dry, I'm going to remove the tape from the table and then slowly but surely pull away from the picture itself the tape. This is an example of number 3 with crayon. And you can see 1, all the materials that I'm using, 2, I tape my paper down to the table, and then with this one I am doing crayon first, then I am starting to apply my watercolor or marker. You can also use salt with this as well to add a little bit of extra dimension to your piece of art. I took another glance at this piece of art and I thought it was a little bit too basic, so while my paint was still wet, I added some splatters over top of that. Once your pieces are dry, if you notice that your pieces have curled because you have that thicker paper and you're not thinking that it's going to photograph very well, if you take an iron that is clean and warm it up about halfway, then flip your piece of paper over, have another piece of paper underneath it to protect it, and then gently iron from the center of the picture out to each of the edges, and it will create a very flat surface. While it is cooling, make sure you place it underneath a book so that it ends up flat as it cools. And here's my final picture. So for this week, you guys are going to be creating a lot of different of these abstract pieces of art. Make sure that you guys are practicing different techniques, trying out different colors, layering things a different way. Maybe let your piece dry and go add more color on top of it. Try different things. This week is just for experimentation. In week 2, you guys are going to solidify what you are comfortable with now that you have practiced and create your final piece of art. So here's my final piece. Here's 2 more examples of the glue and salt method. Then we have number 2, the glue and oil example. I did not do that one. And then we have number 3, the crayon and salt. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys had a lot of fun and you learned a lot. What was the toughest part of this assignment? What did you have the most fun with and what did you learn? Thank you so much for watching.